Hey all, Shane here, and today I'm talking about comics. No one here? Just me. Okay, so, comics, am I right? What's beautiful about them is they're like manga, which is a series, but rather than just having it, every week, they have it every month, I think. It depends on the publisher, of course. And today I'd like to share with you my experiences with them. So, growing up, as you know, I grew up with Spider-Man. But what got me really into comics is this, the Look and Find X-Men. And it's kind of stupid now that I look at it, because I'm thinking, oh, this is cool because it finds X-Men, right? But you find items such as pipeline, beautiful, or the very back of the thing, it says an eye patch. Oh, can't wait to find that. However, gave that to me and I'm like, okay, it's okay, I guess. I didn't really look through it. I looked through it, but I never really, did anything with it like I should have. But with, other comics, like, Spider-Man, I was so interested in it because it's, relatable like me, as I've spoken before. And then, because of Spider-Man, because of this issue right here, I read this one growing up, because my neighbor always just came over and gave them to me. But because of this issue right here, I thought for the longest time, until I started getting into Spider-Man nowadays, until around, I'm going to say, August, maybe? I didn't know that Dr. Doom was exclusively the Fantastic Four. I thought he was only a Spider-Man villain. Over the summer I was watching the Spider-Man series with Drake Bell as Spider-Man, and they have him in it. I'm like, oh, so he is. And then I learned, no, he's not. What are you gonna do, Mari? Now, growing up with the X-Men stuff was really cool because I hadn't seen the X-Men before. When I was looking through other comics, I would see the X-Men and be like, who are these guys? Well, what do these guys have that Spider-Man hasn't done, right? I mean, scary looking. They're adults, they're like 30. I honestly have no idea. It was interesting with Wolverine. I knew he was like self-regeneration, and he had the claws. And I remember when in grade school, or not grade school, but in my elementary school, I would get pencils and like every other kid like this, you know what I'm saying? Be like, whoa, Wolverine, just slash everything. I thought that was kind of a bonding thing that I could do with my other fellow students at my school. I've spoken before, I wasn't very, outgoing. I've only become that way recently, as of recent, I should say. Another comic I was really into was this one right here, Teen Titans. Don't minus the Go, it's a bad show. Nevertheless, it's a comic about Teen Titans. I read these a lot growing up. I thought, I don't know, it was kind of interesting to me, because it was it's like the Teen Titans, but as you can see, it's characters that I don't remember, like this guy right here, who are you? And then there was one about Aqua Boy, I think his name's, I don't want to get it wrong, but I remember I read that one, and I really liked it, so I kept going with the series. I have it, but it's kind of all over the place, ripped up, unfortunately. Yeah, but I think it was so interesting, in this one we get to see, there's an episode, I'm pretty sure, that we got to see Raven and all her different, parts of her, and I thought that was super interesting, because, it was there, but it wasn't, super in-depth, this one was, I think, I don't know, I'm trying to remember, it was so long ago. And then in this one, this guy was one of my favorite enemies because he was British and just stereotypical with the scary stuff. But I just liked the art style of the episode, where it was they're chasing him around in a room, and oh my god, this is different art style. This is weird. My bad. But I thought, okay, this doesn't have it. But with the television show, they had the art style, and it was really cool because it's black and white. It was like this, but without the flowers and everything. It was just the solid color, and that was one of the most memorable things I've seen. And then I remember these two idiots, but I don't remember them too well. And then I remember definitely the Hive. But growing up with this was really cool because it was like, so like growing up I had Spider-Man, and that's something I related to with the character, as he was nerdy, not really, and really shy. But with Robin over here, in this at least, he was like that. He was more of a regular person, everyday person, not really like he was in other comics. He was rather a team leader, but he still had his flaws and everything. And I thought that was so great, and I really wanted to be Robin growing up because he was like Spider-Man, just more vocal and could be team leader. Next up, I got one of these. All right, a little more DC for you folks. I remember reading this one specifically, and I was like, oh, it's kind of a lot darker than what I watched on TV. And I remember some of the scenes were a little, kind of really hot, if you will. And I'm like, oh, yeah. So that's why I was kind of drawn to read more of it. And more importantly, it was more of Robin, because in this one, it's kind of more of an origin story for Robin, because you get to see his parents die in this one, and from the very beginning, you just see him swinging, and then and then his parents die. I'm like, oh. And then Bruce Wayne, or Batman, whichever you want to call him, just kind of takes him in. He's like, hey, I'll take you and come under my wing. Get it, Batman? Wings. Got him good. More importantly, he was like Spider-Man in this one, where he just wanted to impress Batman. And even in the very end, he just destroys Green Lantern, and then Batman's like, no, we don't do that here. And he was like, but what did I do wrong? He's like, you don't want to kill him, But Robin, thinking how dark Batman is, was like, hey, well, I have to kill him. But that's not what Batman's all about, and that's what I liked about this. It was about killing, but he just wanted to impress this guy right here. Kind of like how Tony Stark is to Spider-Man in the new Homecoming film. Very relatable for some reason. Not the violent part, but the part where it's like, just him being like Spider-Man. Kind of like, oh, what do I do? My parents are dead, kind of thing, and just kind of depressed, looking around the Bat cave and being like, weapon here, this, there. And then when he comes in as Bruce Wayne, you're like, Bruce Wayne, And I thought that was kind of funny because he's like, whoa, it's Bruce Wayne. But, as a comic reader, it's Bruce Wayne, so it's like, why are you so amazed? But then you gotta realize that, oh, he didn't know. I wanted to be like Robin here, just because he was super shy and he wanted to become like Batman, someone strong and powerful that he looked up to. While in this, I wanted to become Spider-Man because he was like me, but he was strong, smart, and not really that scared. Like, if you notice in some of the fights, like especially during the Molten Man, when he fights Molten Man, what was so impressive about that fight was he falls downstairs, and while he's falling down the stairs, they're making fun of each other the entire way down. He's like, you're weak, no, you're weak, Spider-Man, no, you're weak, Molten Man. And the entire time, it's like, I'm gonna assume like 20 seconds, they're just making jokes, and it works well in the comics, and I'm like, please put that in the movies, please. But I thought that was so funny. Like, I read it not too long ago, but I thought it was funny because that's how I am now. I'm pretty sarcastic like Spider-Man, and I'm like, did reading some of the issues put that on me somehow, or is it because of the way I grew up? I think it's everything together. But nevertheless, comics really did help me through my life.